you know? They say love is supposed to complete you. But what happens when loving someone actually leaves you empty? At first, it felt so right. Her smile, her touch, everything was perfect. But as time went on, I started to fade. Not physically, but inside. The pieces of me that I thought would make me whole, they just started slipping away. I gave her my heart, my trust, my patience. And then I gave her my silence. I started losing myself slowly. I stopped doing the things I loved, the things that made me, my dreams. They became distant whispers, my peace, an afterthought. I stopped smiling without reason. I stopped living for myself and started living for her. I was waiting for her to notice, waiting for her to care, waiting for the next I love you to make it all feel okay again. But the thing is, I was waiting for something that was never coming. Every time I reached out, a part of me got lost. Every time I thought I was enough, I became less. It's funny, isn't it? We fall for someone so deeply that we forget who we were before they came into our lives. We lose pieces of ourselves in the process, thinking it's just a phase, thinking we're doing it all for love. But no, that's not love. That's dependency. That's fear. That's believing you're not whole unless they complete you. But in reality, you're losing yourself, and you don't even realize it until it's too late. I didn't just fall for her. I fell out of myself. And the scariest part, I didn't even see it coming. You know, I wasn't always like this. I wasn't always lost. There was a time when I believed in good things. In love, in hope, in dreams. I used to believe love was pure, a connection that could heal you, that could make you whole. But I learned that some things are too broken to fix. And it didn't happen overnight either. It was slow, like the way a storm rolls in, barely a whisper at first. It started with small moments, a look, a word, a smile that wasn't meant for me. But I kept thinking, this is love, right? I kept telling myself, maybe I'm just overthinking it. But then came the moments where I gave all of myself and still nothing. She didn't want me. She wanted my silence, my obedience. She wanted me to shrink, to disappear into the background of her life, and I let her do it. But here's the thing about the Joker, the real Joker. He didn't just accept the chaos, he became it. And me, I didn't just tolerate the loss of myself. I became numb to it. I thought I could be the hero of my own story. But love doesn't need a hero. It needs control. And she held it. I'd give, and she'd take and take. Until I wasn't even sure if what was left of me was me. She loved my silence, my lack of boundaries. I wasn't enough because I gave too much. I wasn't too much. I was nothing. I let it happen, just like a Joker would. I started becoming something I never thought I'd be. A man who doesn't exist unless someone else gives him purpose. A shell, a shadow. And she watched it happen, didn't she? She wasn't the one who killed me. She was the one who let me kill myself. By thinking I wasn't enough. I didn't see it then, but I saw it now. I lost myself, and no one but me is to blame. It took me a long time to realize I wasn't losing her, I was losing me. And the hardest part of it all, I was so deep in it, so tangled in the web she wove around me, that I didn't see it. But there's a moment where you just wake up. The fog clears, and you finally see yourself standing there, broken but whole. I didn't need her to find my truth. I needed to lose her to find me. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't some big explosion of anger or revenge. No. It was quiet, like the slow, steady burn of a candle running out of wax. I wasn't angry at her. I wasn't angry at the world. I was angry at myself. Angry for letting it go on for so long. Angry for thinking I could change myself to fit someone else's broken version of love. But that's the beauty of it all. I woke up. I started remembering who I was before her. Before the chaos, before the games, before the lies. I remembered my dreams. I remembered my voice. I remembered my worth. And I stopped begging. Stopped waiting. Stopped shrinking to fit into someone else's world. She didn't break me. She didn't even hurt me. She revealed where I was weak, where I allowed myself to fade. But that's not the end of the story. That's the beginning of something new. A new version of me. A version that's whole, that's strong, that doesn't need anyone to complete it. I lost myself in loving her deep, but in losing myself, I found a part of me I never even knew existed. A version that's untouchable. A version that refuses to let anyone take the pieces of me again. And now, I'm untouchable. Because now I know who I am, and I will never forget it again. Let me tell you something. There is a power in loss that most people will never understand. When you lose everything, when you're stripped down to nothing but your raw, vulnerable self, that's when the real work begins. I wasn't just recovering from heartbreak. I was rebuilding. I was learning how to exist without needing someone else to make me feel alive. And trust me, it wasn't easy. The hardest part was looking in the mirror and realizing I had been choosing to stay lost. I had been choosing to ignore the red flags, choosing to ignore the silence when I needed clarity, choosing to stay small for the sake of her comfort. But the real question is, why did I let myself stay like that? Maybe I was afraid of facing the truth. Maybe I was afraid of being alone. Maybe I was afraid of the person I might become once I let go of her. But here's the thing. Once you let go, you find yourself again. And you never knew how much power you had until you stopped letting someone else control your happiness. It wasn't just about her anymore. It was about me, about my life, my decisions, my future. I wasn't just waiting for her to love me the way I needed to be loved. I was waiting for myself to love me the way I needed to be loved, the way I deserved to be loved. When you start realizing that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else, when you start realizing that you are whole, all on your own, that's when you begin to truly live. It's like stepping out of a prison. You've been locked up, held captive by this idea that you're incomplete without her. But once you break free, once you see the chains that you placed on yourself, you realize how much room you've been given to breathe again. There's power in that. Power in knowing that no one, no matter how deep you love them, has the right to make you feel small, to make you feel like you have to lose yourself to fit in their world. So I started doing things for me. I stopped apologizing for being myself. I stopped explaining why I deserved better. I stopped shrinking myself into the spaces where she needed me to be. And I started expanding into the person I was always meant to be. I didn't need validation anymore. I didn't need her approval. I needed to be who I was, no strings attached. It wasn't just about moving on. It was about moving forward. Now, I'm not saying it was all sunshine and rainbows. There were days when I would look at the memories, the empty spaces, and feel that sharp ache in my chest. But here's the truth, that pain, it wasn't something to fear. It was something to embrace. Pain is the thing that tells you you're still alive. Pain is the thing that shows you what you care about. Pain shows you where you need to heal. And I didn't run from it. I faced it head on. I accepted it. Because only through that pain could I build a new, stronger version of myself. A version that wasn't looking for validation from the outside. A version that was learning to live with and even love the person who had been lost in all of this. There's freedom in self-love, freedom in realizing that you're your own hero. You don't need someone else to fix you. You don't need someone else to complete you. I stopped waiting for her to come back. I stopped waiting for her to tell me I was enough. And do you know what happened? I became enough on my own. I didn't need her approval. I didn't need her love. I had me. And when you have yourself, when you fully accept who you are, flaws, scars, everything, that's when you start to realize that you can handle anything life throws your way. Love isn't supposed to make you lose yourself. It's supposed to help you find yourself. If it doesn't, then it's not love. It's something else. Something dark. Something toxic. And once you recognize that, once you realize that you are the most important person in your life, you can stop wasting time on things and people that drain your energy. You can stop trying to be enough for someone who will never see your worth. So, what are you waiting for? When are you going to take the power back? When are you going to start living for you? I'll tell you when, right now. This moment, right here, is the turning point. This is where you decide to rise. This is where you decide to stop being afraid of the person you're meant to become. And once you start standing in your own truth, there's no going back. You won't need anyone to complete you. You'll be too busy creating your own greatness to even notice who's watching. So if you're watching this and you've ever felt like you were losing yourself for someone else, don't be afraid to stand up. Don't be afraid to rebuild. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone to save you is the moment you realize you never needed saving in the first place. Drop a comment below. I found me after losing her. Let the world know you're not just a survivor. You're reborn.